It is a betazoid trait. I'll try to be only half as annoying.
Space, the final frontier.
Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right.
Let's see what's out there. Engage.
Hello and good evening. Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 1, Episode 11. Haven is over, and it has been since November of 1987. But we're just getting started here on this July 30th, 2024, covering this episode almost some 40 something years later here on Live Long and Podcast, a live stream here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or you might be listening to us on the audio version. I'm Dave Mater, and I'm joined with a great panel to break this all down. First up, coming to us from the fifth house of Beta Z, we got Heather Narduzzi.
Hello. Don't forget that I am also heir to the Holy Rings of Beta Z and the Sacred Chalice of Reeks.
I would never forget. I would never. No, of course not. Coming up next is the man who might draw women in his dreams. I don't know. It's Adam Woodward.
Drawing women's my dream. I did one time, I think, and married her many years later. So
there you go. You know, it was meant to be.
Meant to be.
Yeah. And coming in for the first time here on the Next Generation podcast, this in all of our run here, it's Jeff Mater.
I feel like I should have painted my whole face silver, and then I would have been getting in character.
Yes, well, that Mr. You could have been like in the box there. You could be Mr. Holm and just get drunk throughout the episode too. Just say thanks for the drinks at the end here. Spoilers ahoy, everybody! We're talking about this episode fully over the next hour. We'll be looking at screenshots. We'll be spoiling it. We'll be getting to ratings by the end of it. Maybe some trivia, all those things. But yeah, tell us what you think about Haven in the comments. We got live streamers here like Norman in the comments.
Hey, Norman.
Hi, Norman.
And we got a great crew here to break this down. Talk about this episode now. Adam, and Heather, you're both aware that there was quite a bit of discourse in our little private chat over this episode, mostly coming from Jeff and I's cousin, Davin.
He doesn't have opinions.
He has no opinions ever. I actually popped in on his X-Men podcast just before I came here, and he said one person's haven is another person's hell. Was how he might summarize this episode.
Well, the girl from Haven didn't want that Haven to be ruined. That was for damn sure.
No, like the governor of Haven, she was like, blow them up now.
Yeah, kill them.
Please kill them before it's too late. So we're gonna talk about that, the ethics about that, but overall, like this episode, I don't know, like I'm not saying that this is the best episode ever. I think it's I think your feelings on it probably are going to be informed by what you think of the character of Loxana Troy in general, this being her introduction into the Next Generation. My dad was going to be on originally, and then he's like, I got things to do, Ribfest to eat and things. So he couldn't be here
for Ribfest. Come on, Ted.
Milton Ribfest, even. So
not even like a top 5 Ribfest around here.
No, not even Waterdown Ribfest.
At the very least, they have a Mr. Hom to bang the gong every time he eats a rib.
Yeah, well, that's how they thank things here.
It is the Beta Z way of giving thanks for the food we eat.
That's right. We're in growth here, but okay, let's just maybe get some high level summaries here. Do we like this episode or not, Jeff? Maybe you first.
I half like it. Like, there's things about the episode that I think are actually quite good. It's very watchable. But then there's like some stilted performances, and I kind of hate watched a bunch of the performances, especially like Riker. Like Riker's weird in this episode. Like he's kind of hateable. Like you're like, I hate this guy.
Yeah, I get that.
There's other moments like, all right, so Robert Nepper is like, I'm just fascinated about how young he looks throughout the episode. I'm like, this is like the most rugged old man villain guy that's been in every TV show known to man. And he's like a young like boy in this episode. So like I'm just fascinated watching him throughout the episode too.
I was wondering if you could recognize him. Yeah.
Yeah, one, he's not a bad guy, and he's like a love interest to Troy. I'm like, the whole thing is like weird to me because it's just like not like his character actor type self. Like he's playing someone totally different than he normally would. So I kind of was watching that. The Woxana is good because she's a fully developed character already. First appearance of her character, Majel Barrett knew exactly what she was doing with this character. She was going to be like the annoying aunt of the galaxy right off the bat. Like that.
Your ignorance is astonishing.
Yes. Well, she actually would like what you said there. Okay, let's go over to Heather next. How do you feel about Haven?
I love it. As you can tell by my outfit, I love Loxana. This episode has everything. Amazing costumes, like the arm pet, the plant pet. Loxana being super petty to the woman sitting next to her. Amazing.
Yeah.
Troy with the hair up and the hair down, and it's campy, it's fun. Is it the best episode of Star Trek? No, but it's great fun. And I would like to say that when I was younger and just getting into Star Trek, I tended to not really like the Troy and Crusher centric episodes, and I've grown to really love them as an adult. And I think a lot of the reason for that is because of being in a lot of feminist Star Trek groups and listening to the discourse there and realizing that some of the reason, probably all the not all the reason because the writing's rough in a lot of them, but some of the reason that I didn't like the female character-centric episodes when I was younger is from internalized sexism. They weren't that was kind of the view in the fandom. I didn't really have any female friends who were into Star Trek. It was all guy friends, and they all rolled their eyes every time it was Troy or Loxana or Crusher or Yeah. So I've really grown to love those characters, and I just think this episode is such a romp and so fun.
Yeah,
despite
I'm with you.
Flagship, but
yeah, I can relate to that. Although I've always Crusher and Troy, yeah, I think that they get some weaker episodes too, but I've never disliked them per se. But you must have been friends with Jodie when you were younger.
I was friends with Jodie Types.
Jodie Types, yeah, right. Oh, there you go. Don't forget about Tasha's hair in this one. Yes, no, yeah, we'll get to that.
I have a giant note that says Yar's hair.
I noticed it too.
She looks like she went to Professor X's school and went like up to Storm. And Storm was like, you know what? I got a haircut for you.
Yeah. Okay, Adam, you like this episode? You hate this episode? You're indifferent? Where are you?
So first of all, Heather, I got to tell you, back when I was watching this, I'm the old guy in the group, live back in university. Actually, this is high school when this came out, but we had a group of people that would always, and we had a lot of female friends in the group that would watch as well. So I grew up with both sexes in that through high school and university, watching this show together. But long and short, so I, like you, didn't really enjoy the Loxana episodes for a long time. However, in my later years and all the rewatches I've done through the years, she's just verbose and over the top, and she's what I like about this whole episode. A couple of things. Number one is it's family. It's meet the parents. We just went through this with both sets of parents here. They're fighting, they're arguing. This is not the perfect Enterprise crew. They all have backstories. And I like this episode. I like family. I think it's after Best of Both Worlds later on.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Season
family.
4.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to see like worse parents. Like again, like the doting Russian parents who are, you know, give him his dinner and all this sort of thing. But like I like to see the family life.
Picard's
like
brother.
Picard's
Oh,
brother.
yeah.
The fighting with those two, like there's a lot of great stories because you only see one side of them in so many episodes. So seeing the family behind, I like this episode because we're introduced into Beta Z culture, as I said on the chat the other day. Because we don't know anything right now, you know, at this point in the series. This is the first time we've ever seen this. They're taught telepathically. They're very passionate people. They get married naked. Like there's a bunch of cool things here. They have a manservant Alm who doesn't say anything. It's great. And then finally,
for the drinks.
Now the negative side of this episode was like Riker's behavior, Troy's behavior. I just find them again for Starfleet senior officers, they acted a little bit shamelessly, but it was good. And I still like this Data early on in the series when he hasn't, like they're trying to figure out him, and probably Brent Spiner is as well. But he's got the smirk and he's just bewildered by everybody and wants to be involved. So it was a fun episode. Now,
Could you please continue the petty bickering?
Can you please continue the petty bickering?
the writing
Love
was terrible. Like it didn't flow. It was off. It just didn't seem great. But anyway, I'll push that aside. I just generally. And by the way, I shamed Davin into at least a 2.
Yeah, you got him up to a 2. He wanted to give it a 0.
Oh, Davin's a hater on this episode?
He's a hater. I didn't even read his whole essay about it, but it was not like he's been kind of like going along that he doesn't like season 1 very much. And I get that the episodes that come in the later seasons are better. But I still get enjoyment out of these episodes,
Yes.
even if like there's not a ton of plot to them, because I think like the characters are so likable. I think Loxana Troy is up there for me. I like her. I remember when we had Steve Shives on, he was not a fan of her. So I get that people's I guess tolerance for her, because she's like this overbearing. I would maybe even categorize her as like a Jewish sort of mother, sort of character. I think it's an interesting
Space Yenta.
Yeah, an interesting dynamic to give to the Troy character, that this is her mother and that she's so different to the point that they have completely different accents. And that's even brought up in this episode, that your accent reminds me of your father, even though in the dream where we met her father, he had an American accent, or, like sort of so I don't know.
And hers is like General Eastern European, and his name was Ian Andrew.
Yeah, like it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like I don't think like she really knew what accent to do for the character, and then she was kind of stuck in this accent when she started doing it, even though she completely changed it once she went into the movies. And then suddenly she was English. But at this point, she's like, throughout the most of Next Gen, she has like this kind of pseudo Transylvanian accent that she's sort of doing Eastern European, I would say. That's nothing like the way Majel Barrett speaks. They probably tried to get Majel Barrett to speak like her, and it didn't work. So
I think you have to she can't sound like the computer.
Right.
There's that too. I think that there's some funny things in here, just because knowing that Majel Barrett married to Gene Roddenberry at this time, but he's like, I don't know, like that they have sort of I always get the impression with those two, the Roddenberrys, they were kind of maybe swingers or something. And there's kind of like this sexual liberalism that's kind of hinted at in a lot of the episodes, both in original series and in this, where she's looking to get with Riker and Picard, and she's flirting with people. And
I just like to say, Riker 100% would walks on.
Oh yeah, he was totally down.
He was totally into it.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. Deanna Troy not so much into that idea, but
no, that's the only thing stopping him. He's like, maybe me and Ansadi are going to get it back together someday, so let's just chill with Loxana for now.
Okay, the episode starts with Riker basically watching porn.
Well,
like it's very strange. And
Lame-
then he gets
lame
called
porn.
away, and he does the most gigantic eye roll of all time. He's like, "Ugh, I gotta go work."
well, I got a
You
screenshot
know?
for that. Don't
I
worry.
can't even stay here and listen to my tiny hollow harp hussies. I gotta shut it down and go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Norman pointing out other Luxana episodes like Half a Life. It's fantastic. Dark Page is very. I agree. Those are great episodes with that
Mhm.
feature her. I like Menage a Troy too. I think that's a good episode. And a fun one too. Manhunt, The Muse, Fascination. Yep. Well,
Here's the thing though with like Waxana is like everybody has met a Waxana in their life. Like she's like like that character is very relatable. Even
Yes.
though she's like annoying and you're like watching her and you're like, oh my god, like she's so overbearing and you're like do I really want to watch 30 minutes of this? But then you like the more you like see the relationships with her and Troy and you're like, that is very relatable. Like that everybody has an aunt or a mother or someone in their life that is kind of like that.
mhm.
And or has been like that. Maybe not all the time, but in moments. And then you go, "Oh, I understand this character now." You know,
And she's like when she stops and actually listens and shows her caring side, and tames it down just a bit. She's actually got a lovely, empathetic face and smile. Like she, it just
Yeah, like there's more to her than just sort of this, buzzing that she does.
like we were going back and looking at her from the original series, like Callie and I, when we were watching this episode just earlier, and same thing. She's she had that matronly presence, even back then. So
Yeah. Mother of Rod Roddenberry, the current, I don't know, head of Star Trek, feels like in some ways. Let's run through the screenshots, and not a ton of them, but it won't take us long to summarize the plot. The Enterprise at this planet Haven, which we're led to believe is some kind of like Ryza-esque maybe vacation planet, but a different one. Here's Riker's harp porn you were referring to, Jeff.
Yeah.
Look at the hair on the silver gal. It's
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
it was 1987.
I know. It was sweet. Look at the feathers. Like, fantastic. Glitter everywhere in this episode.
This is hey, okay. Riker,
prove my point.
he's liking this a little too much, maybe.
He's also like staring at the barrel of the camera like for like a good 15 seconds. It's very disconcerting. Like, and you're like, what am I watching? Like, why is this the start of the episode?
But then, Jeff, this is where he gets called to the to duty. Right? He's not into. He's called to the transporter room, so he turns off his whatever the hell this was.
This is the only time we saw this, right? Because I don't ever remember this. Back,
and suddenly, like Riker, I want to say like he doesn't have a trombone anymore. He has like a French horn in the background now or something. Like it's kind of weird, but anyway.
That is weird. I never noticed that.
He goes off. So there's something that wants to be an object that has to beam up because Tash is the one who called Riker to the transporter room. We get to meet this transporter chief.
This guy, he was in the original Roadhouse as one of the bad guys.
Oh yeah, that's where he's from.
Is that what he is? Yeah, they don't have Colmini here to do it, so it's this guy. For whatever reason, so they beam in the box, and it's Armin Shimmerman inside of this Betazoid thing. For whatever reason, Deanna Troi just happens to be coming by at this particular time. And what's happening here? Armin Shimmerman, known for playing Quark here, delivers his little thing that the wedding is on, the honorable Millers are coming, and etc. So we get all into that. Troy starts crying immediately. Who's getting married? I am. There's a wedding happening because we see all these jewels that come out. We're told that there are bonding gifts, wedding gifts of sorts. Which
she says they're bonding gifts, or what you would call wedding presents. Like you couldn't understand that from the context of
You know what though? Star Trek Next Gen particularly, they always made these. They always had to clear things up for you and explain things as a viewer. That's one thing I would always. It annoyed me a little bit. They didn't give their viewers enough credit to make the link, Adam. You can do it.
What the hell is a bonding gift?
Who will ever figure it out?
Yeah,
exactly. Troy almost crying, acting here. She's not too happy, and that is our teaser for the episode as we head into it. Of course, this is in this episode. Deanna Troi deals with the commitment of an arranged marriage after the arrival of the wedding party, including her mother Luxana, the Wyatts, the Millers, I suppose, as Wyatt Miller played by Robert Nepper, and the parents of him. As we get our title card for this episode, Haven. It's kind of interesting too that like the episode is called Haven. I know they're at the planet, but they never even go down to the planet. We never see the planet. It's kind of
it's a lovely planet, Dave.
It's a lovely planet, and you will kill to protect it if necessary. Like we get the next scene here is with Picard getting the briefing from Troy, explaining the arranged marriage, and this is where Riker begins his hateable performance. I agree with you. He's like I can't even blame Frakes really. It's just the way it's written, kind of.
It's his whole demeanor too throughout the whole. I mean, you're right. It's the way it's written, but like the way his body language throughout the whole episode, you're like, this guy's like a kind of like a possessive jerk. You know, like that's how I felt throughout the whole episode.
He broke up with her because he wanted to go after his career. Like that's.
I don't want you, but I don't want anybody else to have you.
Right. Like, well, and like I think that is consistent with what we see with the Riker character throughout the the years. Like even later on when she gets together with Worf, in the finale they even hint at this where he was mad that she in that timeline she got together with Worf, and he always thought there would be a chance for them to get together. Of course, they did go on to become married many years later after this. So I don't know. Riker is like, well, yeah, I'll get to you eventually, Troy. But that the idea of that door being closed here, I guess, is what he's angry about in this episode. Of course, it's not admirable at all. But
I'd like to point out
Troy episode.
A couple of things here. I know y'all aren't super big on costumes and stuff, but her coral lipstick and blush and the coral V on her outfit, that's some really nice work.
I agree. And I noticed. Don't worry. Adam rolls his eyes when
I don't roll my eyes. I don't roll my eyes. Hold on.
Riker does when he gets called to the transporter room. When he's
I don't understand the sash. What is the need? What
to emphasize her tiny waist is the point of that sash.
Emphasis. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, please tell me too that you have a screenshot. Jeff, you were talking about Riker's shitty body language after Picard leaves the room and Riker does like a sad lean on the wall and like.
Yeah, because she says she's got to leave the ship after she gets married. She's not going to stay. So Picard's like, well, that sucks, but we wish you well. So he leaves, and then he does. Yeah, here you go. Yeah.
What the hell is this? And he sadly picks at the fabric.
It's embarrassing. It really is. Because, the whole time he's sleeping with half the crew anyway. So
totally.
Yeah.
And considering sleeping with her mom pretty soon. So suck it up, sad Riker.
Well, he's sad, but he's also kind of I feel like trying to intimidate her. I feel like there's a little bit of he's mad at her for something that's not even her fault.
Right.
It's throughout the whole episode. He's he's kind of got this conflict with her, and it's not her fault, but she also feels guilty by that as well. I think. I know it's strange.
I think he wants her to not go through with an arranged marriage, but he doesn't even explain that as being his objection to this.
No, I feel it's more petulant and manipulative than aggressive and intimidating. That's how it reads to me anyway. But I mean, either way, he's being a dick.
Well, backstory would be is the fact that they don't even talk about this relationship. They've called it off. They're not going to go anywhere with it. And all of a sudden, she's already blown up about, she's going to have to leave the ship now, marry a guy she met as a kid probably. And now he's just making it more difficult for her. I think it's selfish and manipulative, as you said there, Jeff. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Heather said that.
Heather said that part, but I don't know. I get this this way he's staring at her and stuff. I'm like, this is intimidating. If I were her, I'm like, I don't know. Just the cold, icy stares of how dare you take this from me? That's I don't know. That's how I took it throughout the whole episode. And I'm like, okay, it's the way,
it's his body language, it's the way he holds his face. Yeah, I get it. And it's something we don't get from Riker or Frakes very much at all.
No,
You know?
that's not his vibe usually at all.
No, so maybe it's just like, I don't know, him trying to doing a performance he's just not as comfortable with. But yeah, it comes across as sort of. And she says, "Will you come to the wedding? Come at my wedding?" He's like, "Will you dance at the wedding?" He goes,
Yeah.
"I'll try."
Yeah. I'll try. I don't know. I can't make any promises.
This is
Yeah.
Well, he leaves, and
So this is funny, this scene, because Data, like, it didn't look like he was waiting for the door chime to go off or anything. He was just coming in.
yeah, he was coming into what, just to talk.
I guess
to Troy?
to talk to Troy, yeah.
Yeah, she just kind of leaves, and he's kind of oblivious to what's going on. Like, that's mostly what Data does in this episode. It's kind of like he's got a curiosity about this, but doesn't really care too much. So we see that the Miller family beams in after this. We get to meet Jan Miller, I guess, the mother, who's kind of a similar kind of an operator to Loxana Troy, a different personality, but
Yeah,
also...
but notice they put her in monochrome gray as opposed to Loxana's big bright reds and patterns,
Right. She's
I
more
think that's an
conservative.
interesting costume choice. And that hat is ridiculous.
They're conservatives.
Yes,
That's what they're
exactly.
telling us. They're conservative beta Zeds.
That's
Beta
right.
Well, but they're humans. That's the other thing that I think is a little weird about this, is that why did they just didn't make these characters Betazoid as well? Like, so
I think it had to do
Right.
with,
I didn't even clock that they were humans. Of course. That is weird.
I think it had to do with the story, because they had to make sure that he like the whole thing, like, oh, he thought Troy could read his mind, and like that he had these dreams, and like, so like for the story, I think that's why they made them human. But yeah, I don't really see why.
Because we had this idea, like, of course, Troy's half Betazoid, half human, and so when she was a kid, her parents got her Betazoid arranged marriage to a human.
I think it's mentioned in the episode too that this Stephen Miller was her father's best friend, and her father was human. So that
maybe they were in
tracks a bit
Starfleet
there, I
together.
guess.
Like, it's hard to say. That's never really said, but yeah, like they seem to be happy to see Deanna. Like, it's been a while since they've seen her, and then we meet Wyatt, who is played by Robert Nepper, who I never put it together that this was the same guy until like last week when we were coming into this episode, and I was like, oh, it's the same guy. And Jeff's right; he always plays a bad guy. He's been in a lot of different things I've seen, Prison Break, and I don't know.
Been on every TV show known to man.
Yeah, he's
been
often a villain, but in this, he's got the mullet of the '80s, and he's a leading man type here. So they're he gives her the mood rose that changes with the chameleon rose. Yeah, changes with the mood, which he likes. So anyway, she seems kind of taken with him, at first. And we find out that there's tension here with Loxana and the Millers, that they're waiting for her, that she's waiting for them to leave the transporter room before she'll beam up. So that comes up. And she says, well, Wyatt's not what I was expecting, or I'm not what he was expecting of me. So whatever that means. So we'll get to that. And then Troy says, I have to warn you, sir, my mother's a bit eccentric. And he goes, huh? She beams in here, and we get to meet Loxana for the first time, and Mr. Hom, for that matter. Lurch himself from the Addams family.
I love this entrance for Loxana. They beam her in back on so she can be like, oh, where am I? And do a big turn reveal. And you see her whole outfit. That's I think that says a lot about the character.
But did you notice Mr. Om, like himself, look how could he be more nondescript and like just disappearing into the backdrop? Like it's amazing. The whole episode.
For a guy that's 7 foot, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
it really is. Like every wall they put him against, he disappears.
Right. Yeah, no, I think he's like a fun companion for her, like to have, like, it gives, and then she makes Captain Picard carry the bag.
That's a power move. I love that.
Was a power move. We always get this feeling like Loxana is like basically royalty on Beta Z, right? Or how high she is up? I'm not quite sure, but it seems pretty high up.
Well, she's the daughter of the 5th house. I mean, she's at least 5th in line.
At least 5th in line. Maybe she's I don't know. She could be as like the equivalent of a queen. It's hard to say. But
I think I get the complete opposite opinion. I think she uses those titles with people that don't know where that falls. Like it's like a royalty, a British Crown member, like way down in the line, but you can call yourself the Duke or something like that. You know,
Right.
but
Okay, I have a beef with this moment in the episode.
Where he's carrying the bag, or when Troy and Data go by, or sorry, Data and Geordi.
Yeah, so when Data and Geordi go by, why? First of all, why is Picard not asking Data to help him? He would have no problem carrying that bag.
Yeah,
You know, like, and he's clearly struggling, and maybe it's like a pride thing, and maybe it's like, oh, I have to do this for Roxanne, but he doesn't want to be doing it, you know. But maybe it would make him look weak in front of Roxanne. He doesn't want to do. I don't know. There's a bunch of different things. But
she's a high-ranking diplomat too, right? So I think that probably plays into it.
Even if her titles aren't that impressive, yeah, she is an ambassador from her planet. She is high up in their government at the least, and so she is someone of note. Yeah, like this is where she's like, you have to stop making the captain carry this, and then Mr. Hom just picks it up like it's like, you know, a 1 pound or whatever. You know, I'm sure it was emptied by this point, but it was great physical acting from all of them.
Did they use this gag later on? Like, I seem to remember them doing it again.
Maybe, yeah, I think they might, yeah.
Yeah, they do revisit it.
Yeah. Right. And she goes, what do you think of the Millers, Captain? And when they're the turtles, she's like, oh, I think I like them very much. I don't like them at all. I don't know why we ever were friends with them in the first place. And then she starts like almost bad mouthing humans at one point, and then they start doing their telepathy talk in their heads. You know.
So was she just goading Deanna to finally talk through telepathy?
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's what
I think so. I think she knows how to play her daughter very well. She knows how her daughter will react to things. There's such different personalities, but you know, it really kind of works for me. And so yeah, they get to the quarters. She goes, my favorite. What are these quarters good?
Small, but adequate.
Small but adequate.
Title of your sex tape.
Yeah, exactly. You know, she's like, hey, will you do something about the heat in here? He's like, oh yeah, I'll look into that right away. But then he like backs out. And
this is probably my favorite moment in the episode is when he bows and then backs out and the door closes. Like, it's like he's like, I am getting out of here. Bye. See you. It's the way he does it is really, really funny.
And we don't see Picard act like this very often, right? So it's kind of, you know, just he's just like, okay, bye.
Yeah. It's kind of looking at Troy like, she's all yours.
All yours. Yeah.
That is fun to see the way that Picard acts with Loxana, because as you just said, we don't see Picard at such a disadvantage usually. He's kind of like, bye. You know, he doesn't really react like that in other situations we see him in. So it's fun to see that.
Yeah, you're right. So she's talking to Troy. She's like, well, Wyatt's a nice guy. You'll go fine. I don't know. Like, I agree with what Adam said earlier. She has these moments here where she's not just like this over the top annoying person. Like, she's actually got some depth to her. You know, I think that works well. One comment here from Ian. He's saying, in fairness, why would she ask him like that? Why would he go to the wedding? Will he go to the wedding? Come on. There's a no-win for Riker on a night where he's getting decimated in this review. Well, I think we stand by our comments, Ian. But
listen, I'm a Riker stan till the end, and I also 100% would, but he's just acting like such a dick in this episode. It's hard to get behind him. I mean,
yeah, I
agree with that too.
If there had been stuff in previous episodes where it was like, no, I'm going to ask her out next week and we're going to get back together, maybe, but none of that was present, you know. So
it would suck for him to be at her wedding, though. But like, he could be a grown up about it.
Yeah. Let's talk about this Haven administrator lady who runs the planet. She's like, there's a ship coming, Captain, and we have a treaty with you, and you're supposed to protect us from any kind of hostile ships. Hostile being that they weren't answering the hails as they were coming in. And he's like, yep, that's right. We'll protect you if there's any issues. We'll come back to her. So they are scanning for that, but in the meantime, we have this scene here with Wyatt and Troy in his quarters where they kind of have their first kind of one-on-one conversation after the transporter room. We find out he's a medical doctor. She's marrying a doctor, everybody. Like, how could she not be pleased with that? And he's not a jerk. He seems like a pretty good guy, you know, and an artist too. He's been drawing, you know, and he goes, this is where she figures out, well, you thought I was going to be this woman when you arrived. You know, he said, I thought you being Betazoid, that somehow this had been telepathically imprinted down to me, that this would be you when we met. but this ain't Deanna Troy. Ian's still going here. I don't disagree, but ask him to go to the wedding. Yeah, he's got to go to the wedding.
He's the first officer on the ship. I mean, and she's a senior crew member. He has to go. He has to go.
And he has to go naked for that matter. A Betazoid that knows damn good well he doesn't feel about her. Maybe it's a low-key revenge thing for him being a dick. Well, revenge for what? Like,
yeah, that's the whole point. Like, they're not a thing yet. You know,
they were in the past, but like they're not anymore. He broke up with her because he wanted to go after his career.
Yeah,
he broke up with her.
That's the whole thing. But he still like has this ownership over her, and like that's the thing. That's like, yeah, like what? Like why?
And as they discuss later on the holodeck, she basically says, well, listen, we agreed to be friends. I'm being friends. We're platonic, and that you're supposed to be too. And
I like how Troy even tells Wyatt all about. Well, she doesn't name him by name, but she's like, "Yeah, well, there was a guy on the ship who's not super happy about this, but he had his chance." And basically, and then later on, when Wyatt meets him on the holodeck, he's like, "Yeah, I heard about you. You want to be a captain? Cool." Like that's why. He's like, if that's not why it didn't work out between you two, then all good, man. Like, go be a captain. And that's it, right? Riker wants it all. So then we go over here to the ship, and this is where Data and Picard on the bridge, they realize that the ship approaching, I'm trying to remember what these aliens were called.
Terrellians.
Terrellians are here. Is that a Terrellian ship? They're supposed to be extinct.
It kind of looks like the Thought Maker, the Ferengi Thought Maker, only in pink.
It reminds me of something, like I don't know what, something from Battlestar maybe. I don't know what I've seen this type of ship before, but Picard says we can't let them destroy this planet, and you're like, how is this ship that can't even go at warp? How is it going to destroy the planet? So there's a lot of like mystery and sort of like not everything explained right away. As we see that it's approaching the planet slowly. The conference room gives us all the exposition where it's explained that the Terrellians were a planet that basically destroyed themselves. They were kind of like a 20th century level civilization. There were two big continents. One continent used a biological weapon on the other, and then they managed to get everybody infected, and then they all mostly died. The refugees who did escape ended up infecting other worlds with this and killing a lot of other people, and so they started being like hunted down, exterminated, and they believe that the last ship was destroyed.
Can I just say this? There is no chance in hell that Cisco or Janeway would not have blown that ship up.
Agreed.
Right. But Picard is definitely he's like, well, they're sick too. They're like they're victims, and he feels bad for them, right? And the morality of it all, right? But he knows he has to protect Haven if they're trying to come to Haven as well. He has kind of like a few duties. Like I think it's like earlier on or later on in the episode where Tash is like, I think I could destroy them with one shot, and then Picard goes, and then what? What are you gonna do after you disable them, right? Like you gotta help them out here. So interesting.
But this is post-COVID, this is a very interesting, subplot here, because everybody else is so, and not the Enterprise crew, but it's so quick to get rid of them, destroy them. They got to get out of here, and the fear again, that's just with the unknown. There's only 8 of them. Can we do anything? No questions, just blow them up.
Yeah. Well, here's the scene where Riker leaves.
Which is angry. Weird again. Like what? Yeah. He's leaving before the meeting's over.
Yep.
Yeah. And this is kind of important.
It's all about his dick. And the thing is, like, and normally Troy would be like the number one person. No, Captain, we can't kill these people. But I think she's like, I don't know, maybe.
I'm getting married. I don't care. Bridezilla's coming out here.
Maybe ship Riker over there and blow the whole rig up.
Yeah. Send Wyatt over there too, and then this whole wedding can be over, and then I can just live my life.
Don't worry, we're getting there. So then I guess we have this reception, which I guess is not the wedding itself, but kind of like a engagement party of sorts here in the Enterprise Marriott Conference Center. Going along here. Troy wears a different hair in this.
No, it's the same hair. They just clipped a ponytail onto it.
Okay.
Yeah, because you got hair.
She's got more of that coming on the sides here, right? It's just part of the clip on.
Well, has been wearing it in that like gems and the poof, and then they just clipped a ponytail under the back of it and pulled it into the front.
Yeah, I like it.
I love it. It looks great.
Yeah,
she's gorgeous.
Yeah, she looks really nice here.
Mm-hmm.
We see Mr. Hom is just down in drinks in the background while Data's kind of watching him. I don't know. That's like the behind the scenes humor here. Is this where they start talking about the naked wedding? Maybe, I don't know. It just like, yeah, Data's just like enjoying it himself as he watches these humanoids bicker and get into it and whatever else. Oh yeah, this is where she's like talking about the wedding, that the ceremony has to be in the Betazoid tradition.
I am Luoxana Troy, daughter of the fifth house, holder of the sacred chalice of Reeks, heir to the holy rings of Betazet.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you?
Best line ever. Who are you?
Love it.
Yeah.
Right. I am Wyatt's mother. That's what's coming out here. Is it good to do it? Yeah, like Data, for a guy without emotions, really having a good time with this whole thing. This was my favorite though. Picard says, "Guess what? It's no more fights."
It is a Starfleet tradition that at social gatherings, disputes are not permitted. I hereby declare, therefore, all disagreements resolved.
Just like in the previous episode, how tears are permitted in the penalty box. There is now a standing order. All disputes are resolved. When you come to a social gathering, there will be no fighting.
I love that Picard just makes up rules for when he's socially uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Starfleet regulations.
Yeah, but it would have been better if Data had actually questioned it. I'm not aware of that regulation.
I'm not aware of that regulation. Shut up, Data. You know, like, don't you know about the tears in the penalty box?
He just walks over and deactivates Data.
Yeah, that would be fun. Then we fast forward to dinner here. I don't think we ever went to this room again.
Okay, what is with her hair in this?
Crusher's hair is a nightmare here. Good God.
It's
Wait till we get to
1987.
But she has beautiful hair, and they usually do something nice with it. But they've given her like a feathered Pulaski here or something. It's not cute.
No. He's giving a toast here. I want to see if I can find a shot of Tasha. Okay, here she is.
Looks pretty good.
This is amazing. Like designing women realness. Perfect.
Again, also very 80s.
Yeah.
Very 80s. A lot of booze flying around at this this thing. Mr.
I have to find a picture of my aunt from the 80s. I'm sure she had hair like that. So.
Oh yeah, my mom did too. 100%.
You see some shots of Jane from that time as well with her hair. Anyway, so going through here, yeah, there's Crusher's hair does suck in this episode.
Oh, it's awful.
Worf's not in this episode at all.
I noticed that.
No, there's Crusher. This is the only time there's 2 episodes in the whole series where Worf's not in it, and this is one of them.
Okay, yeah, and I guess the other one was that the one with the Edo, right?
Something with honor.
Code of honor.
Yeah, Code of honor.
Yeah, they didn't put Michael Dorn in that because it was horribly racist, and we're like, we can't let him see this.
I think he saw it, and
he saw it.
and Geordi was still
And Geordi
in the
was
episode.
in it.
Yeah,
Geordi. Yeah.
So yeah, we had the gong going on here, going on like as the tension builds at this dinner.
Love it.
Like, you know, we see the bickering here between the 2 mothers. That keeps going back and forth. She's like, "You never used to care about that," you know. She's like, "I care."
Well, I do now.
I do now, you know, and that's what it all goes, you know. She was like, Mr. Hom has to do the ceremony, and she's like, he can't even talk.
He is highly adept in the act of sign language.
Yes, he's highly adept in the art of sign language. More aggressive Riker at the dinner. Is he
just pissed off?
Just shooting eye daggers across the table here.
Yeah. And then this is where, yeah, like Loxana starts messing with Mrs. Miller with her little plant pet thing that kind of, I don't know, goes on her here.
I love this. It's so, both of them being so passive aggressive. Don't you just love pets, Victoria? Yes, I do, Loxana.
Of course, yeah. And they've all just kind of reacted to them here. It's going. So what's on these plates? Like, what is this meal? Why is there a bowl of jelly beans?
It looks like Easter eggs, we used to get when we were kids. Like,
it looks like when you take a bunch of candy and just throw it in a bowl and call it a salad. Like that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Like this was meant to look futuristic, this like cutlery and plates and cups, but I think it looks more like patio stuff, like that
picnic, like
picnic.
child's picnic. And their food plates, like what they've got on their plate, looks like they took a trip to the salad bar at the Space Ponderosa.
well, and Mr. looks like he went to the science lab and got a big beaker to be drinking out of it.
Right.
Yeah, there are a lot of beakers serving as glassware in this episode.
Absolutely. This is where Riker's like, I need to go deal with the Tyrellian situation. Way shooting more daggers here at Troy. And Picard's like, yeah, sure. Get out of here. You're making everyone uncomfortable. Number one. Anyway. And then is this before? Yeah, more fighting here. Oh, yeah,
What was this? What was this about?
Who is this? Yeah, exactly. Like what happened that day?
Her reaction to this scene was like she's just like loving it.
I guess this was like an attempt to make them look more fancy for this dinner.
No. I'm talking about her reaction to the whole fight.
Oh, this is when she's asking about like the naked wedding or whatever, the no clothes.
I got when they were fighting, she seemed to be enjoying the whole thing.
Yeah.
100%. Yar is a petty bitch who lives for drama. She's into it.
She's totally into it. She's like, your husband wants to see me naked. What? And then starts causing conflict there.
That's the best.
Yeah, and then Lux or Deanna, gets a little upset here.
Stop this petty bickering, all of you!
Stop this petty bickering, all of you. Which she even hits the gong.
Who's behind the gong there? You saw her like twice.
Yeah, who is that lady?
she's the
I don't
gong
know,
wrangler.
but she's wearing a random scant ensign.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, she is for sure. I like how Luxana is not surprised by this reaction at all. I guess because she's a telepath, she kind of knew that Deanna was about to blow up here,
or she just knows her daughter, and that's what was.
And you're right. This is afterwards. This is Tasha. She does live for it. Look at that reaction.
Yeah, she looks like every like woman that watches like Real Housewives. I know because my wife does, and she's like, "Oh, something good's about to happen," or like they just got mad at each other. It's like it's like that look,
80s aesthetics. That's right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So they all go here. Goes right, and Data says, "Can we please continue?"
Could you please continue the petty bickering? I find it most intriguing.
Data would watch some Housewives.
Let's talk about this scene in the holodeck desert with sad Riker
again with the like pouty body language.
Yeah.
For me.
What did the director say? Be as much of a petulant child as you can. Action, go.
He's like, no problem, got it.
They can pick anywhere in the world, like anywhere, and they pick a stupid desert to sit in.
Well, he's sad. He's gonna go sit on a rock.
I think this is the exact same set that they did Hide and Q on last week with the green sky, but they made the sky now blue and red or whatever.
I love it. I love this bisexual flag aesthetic that they've got going on in here. It's way better than the hideous green screen Hide and Q from last week.
Yeah, you did not like that green sky.
I hated it. I love this one though.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it kind of works with their outfits too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like this conversation, what's there to say about it between Deanna and Riker here? She keeps calling him Bill throughout this episode too, which I also find weird. I know there was one other episode she did it, but it was
in Encounter at Farpoint, and I think she does in this one, and then I think they stop it and she goes.
And Naked Now she did it too.
Mm.
Yeah, because he never says call me Bill to anybody ever. She also says, he's like, why don't you call me Imzadi? Or she says, he goes, you said that means beloved, but actually, everybody, my name David actually means beloved.
I think a lot of names mean beloved.
If you all want to call me Imzadi, no, it's okay.
Do you think there was a scene off show where like Riker was just like, you know what, no more Bill? Do you think he was just like?
You think that Frakes asked for this?
Oh, maybe
don't-
that too. Maybe that too. I was thinking more just the Riker character. He's like, no Bill anymore.
Actually, yeah, no one actually calls me Bill. That's only
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe you want to cut it
Stop
out. I thought it was cute when we were dating, but you know.
yeah. But then you were gonna
So-
marry some other guy from childhood, and I was done with it.
Now you're going with Robert Nepper, who's
Yeah.
apparently never seen a holodeck before. And you know, getting into it. Yeah, and I love it. Like, yeah, Riker's so mad here in this scene.
He looks like the Terminator here. Look at it. It looks like he could have played T2.
Like the T-1000?
Yeah, the T-1000. Like he's just like shooting daggers right through Deanna.
That's some stink eye there. Yeah.
And I love that Wyatt is just like, okay, so you're the one who's going to be a captain. But he does it in a totally neutral tone. If he had done it in a different tone, it would have been like, good for you, buddy. You go be a captain. Go get him, Riker. Cute.
He
Good
handles
job,
it,
Bill.
You're
he handles
leaving
it perfectly.
this woman for that?
Yeah.
For this guy, he's not even as tall as me. But he is a doctor. I don't know.
Look at me puff my chest out. I'm tall and I'm
Look at his face. That's great.
Yeah,
Not Riker. The White's
Robert Nepper.
little smirk.
Yeah, Riker. He's like, this was my holodeck program. Okay, well, it's yours now, I guess.
that's my rock to be sat on.
This is my rock to be sat on.
This is my sadness boulder. Be gone.
Yeah. So we find out that her little outburst, Deanna's little outburst at the reception dinner there, shamed them into compromising on the wedding, having a human Betazoid like fusion thing. His father, he starts making jokes about his father looking at himself naked in the mirror. I guess a lot of time has gone by since the dinner ended. Not for these discussions all to have happened. Is getting into it more, things, and eventually, we get some kisses here with Deanna and Wyatt, as they're falling into each other here. They're, then the Torellian ship getting closer. They're almost in transporter room range. The Haven administrator says,
Hey, Dave, I wanted to point something out. When she first contacted the ship and talked to Picard, this is the only time I ever remember Picard not getting up to address whoever's on screen.
right, in the earlier scene, he stays in his chair.
He stays in his chair, yeah.
Yeah, but
I guess they learned, like, after watching Enterprise for so long, they wanted the captain to actually stay in their chair for a while. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know what it was after, so never mind.
Could be.
Heather, what do we make of this hairdo? Because it's standing out to me.
This hairdo, this is like intergalactic glitter golden girl realness caftan look right here. It's like Mrs. Roper meets Blanche Devereaux. Just like poofy piled up hair. And she's got a little like glitter gem on the side of it. Impeccable. Love it. You know what though? It's very casual. And I think that's why Picard didn't get up.
Yeah. And there may only be 8 Torellians left in all of existence, but she wants them dead. Yes.
Dead.
And it seems calming with a nice little sunset behind her. Like, it's like, oh, you know what? If it was like a dark, if it was where Riker and Troy were just hanging out, I think we would have been like, I don't know, this seems dark. This seems evil. But
because it's sunny, it's got a sunny disposition.
It's got and the hairdo and everything, right?
No, she's on like the Sunset Beach planet. Genocide's cool. Just blow them up. It's
blow them up. No one
fine.
likes them anyway.
It's Baywatch Nights.
Yeah, Baywatch Nights. So Riker, this is where Tashiar is like, I think I could destroy them with one phaser shot. And he's like, yeah, then what? What are we gonna do after that? So they're coming closer. They're now in transporter range, which is a problem because if they beam down to the planet, they could start infecting, the people with the disease. So the Enterprise puts them in a tractor beam, which prevents the transporters from working. So they're going to kind of drag them away. And then we get they're able to get a view screen shot here, but it's not like a full two-way communication right away. But as soon as Deanna sees this woman, she goes, that's the one Wyatt drew in his pictures. She's like,
go back to Troy's face. Troy is gagged to see this tiny kitten white snake video vixen crop top on her screen. Like, whoa, bitch.
I thought the same thing. She looks like, she just got out from backstage with Billy Idol. Like, it's.
She was crawling on the hood of a Trans Am 1 second before this transmission.
She totally was. We see here in the background that the dad is on that chair that Worf always sits on, like that weird.
Oh
kinda-
yeah.
with
Didn't see
with
that.
the balls or whatever. Anyway, so I think they call Wyatt up from his quarters, and like, I love how they show us the pictures just so if we forgot that he drew this woman
3 times.
earlier. Yeah, they kind of cut back and forth because I guess they didn't think we would get it.
Well,
then-
as Adam was saying, another don't trust the audience to figure it out themselves bit. Like, make sure everybody knows this is Wyatt's dream girl.
Right. And then they see Wyatt on the screen as he comes to the bridge with his drawings. He's like, I drew you for years. You were real. And there's kind of like this connection here between them, right away. They seem to know each other. Their plan was to beam down to Haven, but now that Wyatt's here, they don't want to do that at all, is what we're told. We have a time jump here. So then Wyatt goes to see Loxana in her quarters. She's like, how do you like this feather in my hair, Wyatt? It will look great when I'm naked at the wedding, And she's kind of doing her whole thing here in the mirror.
Yes, I love that they show the back of that dress because they didn't at the reception. Just this backless drape of a dress. Fashion, Loxana.
Looks great.
Love it.
Yeah, me too. So she has like this sit down here with Wyatt, I'm trying to remember the substance of it, but she was like basically like, maybe you and Deanna, maybe you need to follow your heart, or something if it's not for you, which he kind of considers. And after that conversation, you see here he's in the sick bay. As it was established, he's a medical doctor. He was like, he already talked to Dr. Crusher at the reception about using the sick bay, and he's kind of packing up some medical supplies. He's like, oh, good, I'm going to beam this stuff over the Tyrellians to use. And she's
It looks like he's wearing a repurposed Romulan.
Yeah.
Uniform.
Yeah. It's like a weird jacket of sorts.
It looks like they took a Wesley sweater and slapped a V on the front of the smock.
Is this a pullover or is this meant to get sort of close?
It just needs the square shoulders, and he could work, be part of the Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he kind of pulls a fast one here on Dr. Crusher as he steals one of the hyposprays with like a sedative because he's going to use that on the transporter operator. As he kind of gets away here, but first he goes by to say goodbye to his parents. Says take care of each other. I think Deanna knows he's going to do this, like in the scene that he's going to leave. I feel like she's completely aware of what his intents are, mostly because she has empathic abilities. And he kind of says goodbye to her after giving her a kiss. And the parents are kind of confused, but
that look, go back. That look right there is. Yeah, he's leaving.
Yeah,
like that's what that means.
Yeah, she's like, that was a kiss goodbye. Okay, I guess I'm not getting married.
She's like, I don't kiss goodbyes. I got one from Riker a few months ago.
Yeah. so then Wyatt pops in here on the Roadhouse transporter operator, who's like, you can just put the stuff here on the pad. Oh no.
Oh no.
As he gets hypoed. And he beams over in good fashion here. Geordi's like, I can't stop it. It's too late. I can't override. He's beamed over to the Tyrellians. We get to see the Tyrellian ship here, who of course they have little drawings of baby Wyatt, just like he has got drawings of her. I guess they probably someone sketched some old childhood photos of Robert Nepper to pull this off, and then we meet the Tyrellians, who they like blue, but
I'd like to point out they used one bolt of fabric for all of these costumes. Exact same fabric.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the one behind's got like a purple thing or something going on, but hard to see. Yeah, it's not the best looking alien outfits, but and so they come in. We've been waiting for you. Of course, he's got his poison groupie girlfriend here. They're into it. He can't never go back. She's like, the mother says, you got to get him away from those lepers. He's like, I can't do anything. I can't bring him back at all. He can never come back. So they have a little like phone call here on the Zoom to say goodbye. And, the parents are kind of.
They always look so shocked, the mother.
Yeah. Yeah. She's just like, huh? but he's gonna, hopefully try to cure them. I don't know. We never find out what happens to
Yeah.
Wyatt and these Tyrellians, but
Should have done like a Deep Space Nine episode where Bashir finds them and they're all dead.
they're all dead. They died 5 months later. But
I'd like to say this has got to be, even though Troy's like, yeah, it's his dream girl. They've been drawing pictures of each other or whatever. That's got to be a big hit to the ego. Okay, I know we were going to get married, Troy, but I'm going to go beam over to the hot blonde on the incurable plague ship instead.
Yeah. And I'm stuck with this guy that wants me, but doesn't really want me because he wants to focus on his career. So, either way, I'm kind of, you're kind of left in the dustbin. Yeah, I can see what you're saying there.
I also feel like Troy is like, okay, well, see you later, both of ya.
Yeah, she's a little heartbroken after this. She gets dumped in a different way, here by Wyatt. And so I don't know, like the parents leave, they're like, okay, we'll see you later. And then Loxana has her goodbye here. Picard's irritation, very obvious. Oh, she's like, oh, we never got together, Captain. Oh, and then she like does this whole flirty thing here with Riker. And this is the only time Riker's happy in the whole episode.
I love this one. Look at his face. He 100% would.
Oh yeah, he totally was, but Deanna says, no, he's off limits, mother. And then this is where Mr. Hom finally speaks. He's like, thank you for the drinks.
They have the same haircut.
They do have the same haircut. Yeah.
Is this the only time in the series we hear Mr. Hom speak? Because I don't remember him ever speaking again. I didn't even remember him saying that in this episode.
No. They never get him to speak again. Like
No.
we were told he couldn't speak, so I don't know. But anyway.
But can you really believe anything Loxana says?
Yeah. We also found out that Loxana got rid of her last Mr. Hom because he had too many lewd thoughts about her.
She said they were positively pornographic.
Positive. Of course, I had to pull that.
His thoughts became truly pornographic.
Pornographic, almost like you're watching two ladies play harps on a little hollow thing. And she's like, "Oh, Jean-Luc, even my old Mr. Hom never had such thoughts of me." And then she beams out at that moment, which Deanna says that was a joke. But he is not amused by this whole thing.
I was not amused.
Not amused. And then they do their whole, let's engage, engage. This is kind of, they were trying to follow that whole original series thing here, where at the end of every episode, they're back on the bridge and they say, okay, we're going to the next destination, engage, let's fly away. And that's the end of the episode. So
it's a real lazy way to end an episode. They got away from it eventually, but it is.
Yeah, I agree. This episode's a bit sloppy. I think, it's plot wise, it's a bit to be desired. Tracy Torme, we can thank for that, everybody. The son of Mel Torme.
The Velvet Fog.
The Velvet Fog wrote this episode. So think about all that. Adam, do you have any trivia you would like to share?
I have some. First of all, what I did read about this episode, this was actually Marina Sirtis revealed that this was the third episode filmed. So that could explain some of the actually.
Okay.
That really makes sense, Riker-wise.
Riker-wise, that makes a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm.
So they would have done Encounters at Farpoint, and then some one other episode, then this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, when you consider that he just was called, wasn't Naked Now the second episode?
Well, it depends it depends if you consider Encounter and Farpoint 2 episodes or 1 episode, right? So
Yeah.
Okay, so Encounter at Farpoint 1 and 2, and then Naked Now, and then this was filmed.
Okay, let's say that was the case. Yeah. Sure.
So anyway, yeah, I mean the Bill episode, the Bill reference had been in Naked Now for sure. I'm not sure about Encounter at Farpoint, but
it was because she thinks it at him.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but it was never used again after this one anyway. So it was killed on pretty early. This is the only episode that features the usage of the Enterprise D's dining room. They would always be held in 10 forward from now on, sort of a formal events.
It's better set.
Yeah. Even though Majel Barrett is known for the computer voice of the Trek universe, she made her first appearance as the flamboyant Loxana Troi a full year before she was credited as the voice of the computer.
Oh.
I always thought her work as the computer was really good, and I think it's very, I like Loxana Troy. I like Majel Barrett as an actor. I think she's good. But she's not everybody likes her so much.
I have no problem with her. I think she's a very well developed character. What I don't like is well developed characters. I don't understand why people don't like her.
Well, actually, when we were talking about some of the better episodes, when you have that one, I can't remember the name of it, but with guy from MASH, David Ogden Steers, where
Half a Life.
Thank you.
And he played Timothy.
That was a great episode.
It was, yeah.
I love that episode. So, Loxana makes mention of Deanna's accent and says it reminds her of her father. When Deanna's father appears later in the series, as you guys said, he speaks with an American accent. Marina Sirtis has said in numerous interviews and convention appearances that the accent she affected in the early days of Next Gen was at the insistence of the show's producers, who did not want the Enterprise crew to be seeming too English.
Because they already had Picard, Patrick Stewart in the mix. So,
yeah.
Right. Wait. So Picard was just allowed to do whatever the hell he wanted to do. He was allowed to stay in his original British accent, but for her, they made her go with this Eastern European weird thing. I don't know. It's
Well, he's the captain.
But he's also French.
He's French. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or whatever. When she was asked for an explanation for the accent, she was told it was a Beta Zen accent. When Loxana appeared, did not have that accent. She went on to producers for an explanation, and it was told that Deanna got her accent from her father. When Deanna's father appeared, he didn't have the accent either. So she was told that Deanna went away to school and picked up it there.
Yeah, every other Betazoid we ever met, and there's not many. We met like 5 of them in the entire series. They all speak like with an American accent.
Yeah, the only other Betas that I remember is the oh my goodness,
The creepy one with
there's the evil one on
Tem something
Elbrin.
Albra, yeah.
I don't remember. He was a creep anyway.
Lon Suter in Voyager.
Yes.
Right, the guy that was the serial killer guy.
That's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, the guy from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Okay, for Haven, Richard Saber was nominated. Heather, you're gonna like this for an Emmy Award for outstanding achievement in hairstyling for a series in 1988.
Yes. Wow. Did he win or only nominated?
Nominated. Didn't say winning.
What? Who beat him?
I'm going to look up who won, and I'm going to send them a hate mail.
Or maybe you're going to say, "Wow, that was fantastic. We should have. We have to talk about that sometime."
That episode of Baywatch Nights, you know what? That did have better hair. It's like that's all they.
Robert Ellenstein, who played Wyatt's father, had previously played the Federation president in Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home.
Is that him?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, because that was about only a few years before this, really.
Yeah, he aged a little bit, but he looked a lot better in Voyage Home. Because he had a goatee, you remember? He
had a goatee, and he looked taller for some reason in that movie or something. I don't know. Like, is this the one? No, I'm trying to. Federation.
Did he play the Klingon guy?
No, he played the Federation president. Where he's the one who gives that speech at the end, where when he's like, Captain Kirk, you are,
that's right.
You're stripped of rank, but then we're going to make you the captain of the new Enterprise.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Ah, spoiler.
Sorry, from 1986.
Anna Katerina is an actress who played the woman, the government official from the Haven. Okay. She went on later to play a Vulcan Council member in Star Trek 2009.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking her up now. She's been on Boardwalk Empire and a bunch of different things.
Did she get to blow up any plague ships? I don't remember any plague ships in Star Trek 2009, so maybe she'll get to fulfill her destiny in a different series someday.
She was the poodle lady in Batman Returns.
Oh.
If you remember that.
Yeah.
I think she had a bunch of small roles. Would you say, Dave?
Small roles, but I think that Batman Returns one is notable.
Okay. Curtains made of pearl strings, as seen in Loxana Troy's quarters, were the only appearance, or appear only in this episode. So that's.
I noticed that, and I was like, they put up a magnet glitter curtain just for Loxana.
I thought they probably repurposed. Remember the things you put in doorways and you'd go through, like beaded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Tracy Torme disliked the final version of this episode.
What would he have made better? I don't know. That's what I really wonder here.
I don't know. Denise Crosby and Robert Nepper would go on to co-star in Red Shoe Diaries in 1992.
Scandalous.
Mm.
Wait, Red Shoe Diaries wasn't. Oh yeah, you said Denise Crosby, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was like that sexy show with David Duchovny.
David Duchovny,
Yeah. Okay.
They also appeared in Going Under in 2008, and although they appeared in the same scenes together in the story, they don't interact. And then when Crosby guest starred on Prison Break, pardon me, she and Nepper shared no scenes, but she was on the same episode. So there's not a lot here, Dave. I'm gonna tell you.
Okay, well that's okay. We don't need a ton of facts, you know.
Tracy Torme passed away this year.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. But Mel Torme is still alive, or is he? No, he's also passed away.
He's got to be gone.
Well, he would be like 120 now.
Yeah, he's got to be right. Like
He's gone to the big plague ship in the sky.
yeah, he died in 1999. I'm way out of touch here. Okay.
One more for you. When Wyatt enters the holodeck to find Deanna with Will, there's no sound played for the doors. This is likely so the other two would not be surprised at his entry, or would be surprised at his entry. I don't know.
Yeah, he did come in kind of stealth.
This is a very early. You can see now that I read that thing about him being, or this being the third episode. It really makes sense because it feels like we went further, in the last couple episodes, and then we come back a little bit.
Well, it's why Riker's performance just feels so strange because like you guys are living separately. You're not a couple. Like so, for him to have this like weird hang up is just so, I don't know, like out of character for him even.
So let's rate this sucker.
Okay. All right. Let's get into it. Let's get to our ratings. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Jeff, you want to start us off?
You know what? I'll give it like it's like a 5.9 for me.
Okay.
And the 0.9 for the hair.
There. Heather, I'll put you next.
I give this episode an 8. It's so fun. And as you know, I'm all about the hair and the costumes and the campiness of it. It's definitely got some script problems. And I actually like it even better now that we found out it was filmed third, because that explains a lot more of the awkwardness for me. So I'm going to say an 8. Amazing.
All right. Adam?
I was coming in like around a 5, but I'm aligned with Heather here. Like finding that one fact out has changed this for me, and I really like the introduction of Lixana Troy. So I'm gonna go to a 7 on this one.
7, okay. And I'm gonna go to. I'm not going as high as that, but I don't hate this. So I'm going like a 6.3. I think it's like a pass, but not flying colors. And we're averaging just under a 6, a 5.8. Davin already submitted his 2 rating, so that's part of the reason we're coming down here. Although I
think Davin needs to watch us this episode of like us talking here, and then he'll come higher.
He'll come in higher.
Yeah.
Oh no!
What happened? You froze.
Me?
No, Heather. She's frozen.
Oh.
Yes. She's like, what happened? Nothing. Norman's saying 5.8. For himself, so he's right with us. He's right on with the pulse of the average. Has a 6.2 in IMDb. Okay, so just hopefully Heather will refresh there in a moment. Also want to mention next week the episode is the Big Goodbye. That's coming up next. That's with the Dixon Hill introduction.
Is that with like what he does in First Contact, where he's like, "Hey, Biggie," like the Big Goodbye, isn't that the hologram program he does in First Contact? Where he's like the gangster guy, right?
Yeah. Same thing. Yeah. Ruby, we get to meet. She'll be back. Hopefully you can get back on soon. Back on for the trailer review. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to do a couple things here at once while we're talking. Okay, well, thanks for being with us, everybody. Thanks to Adam and Jeff for being on the panel, and to Heather. Heather's meditating. Yes, that's right. And so actually coming up in 10 minutes, we're doing a quick trailer reaction. I don't know if you guys are interested in joining for this, but Heather and I are going to react to the trailer of Section 31 movie with Michelle Yeoh that apparently has come out. Davin's not a fan. Michael Chan is a fan. And there's a lot of dissenting.
So are you going to show the trailer?
Yeah, we're just going to watch it and react to it here.
I'll come on. I haven't seen it yet. If you don't.
Okay, yeah, me either. I haven't watched it. So the plan was we were all going to pop on here and just have, it's like a minute or something, and we're just going to have a quick little reaction. So please check that out. Coming out here on Live Long and Podcast in a few minutes. You'll be able to check that out. Of course, check out all the great content we have here on the channel, including our Orville reviews every Monday night, talking about episodes of the Orville. We just wrapped up our 4-part Star Trek Prodigy review. We talked about all 20 episodes from season 2. Some really cool stuff happened in that show. Really, if you can go out and binge it, I really recommend it. And we got like Strange New Worlds coming back in October, and I think Lower Decks, maybe in the new year. So look out for all that great stuff here on Live Long and Podcast, plus our debate nines, our trivias, and different things with the locutors of Trek. Always worth looking at. Okay, guys. Well, I'll send you guys the link for this trailer review, and we'll pop right into that. But thanks for being with us tonight, everybody. And we'll leave you with a quote from the episode to send us off here as we bid goodnight. Oh, you're back.
I'm back. I don't know what happened. Plague ship?
Well,
It might have been the virus that was, taking over that, the Tellarites.
Oh, no. I hope I'm not doomed. Maybe some Wyatt will come and save me.
Yeah, maybe.
Start drawing.
I mean, I prefer Riker. Maybe I should just draw a bunch of Rikers and see what happens.
Just make sure that knee is up. Okay. We're going to hop over for the trailer review now, Heather. So we'll see you on there. But until the next time, everyone, live long and podcast and see you next time.
All guests must go unclothed. It honors the act of love being celebrated.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.